All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your good old boy JR coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada. We have our fifth episode of the Silver and Bro Show. My brother will be joining us here on Instagram Live in a little bit. What an exciting week! The Raiders have finally pulled it. They have finally gotten a victory over the Denver Broncos, their first one of the year over a division rival. It is always exciting. Actually, that should be him, and we cannot wait to recap the game with them. Can't wait to talk a little bit about the Chiefs game. But overall, what just an exciting game, just an exciting moment for everybody. And there he is, all smiles and everything, looking like a slick watermelon. My brother, what's going on, man? Look at him. Look at the little bobblehead guy.
Finally, we got win number one, man.
Oh, dude, it's great. It was great, man. It was great. I was just telling them, man, it was just very, very impressive of how they looked. Obviously, not everything is perfect. Like always, not everything was perfect, but a W is still a W. And
Right.
I just want your reaction, man. How was it, Leon? What's going on, man?
Leon, my dude. It was exciting, man. I mean, I don't know. I'm always the first one to kind of criticize a little bit, and it sucks because yes, it was a win, but at the same time, you can kind of look at the game, and I'm more realistic and look and say like, maybe that wasn't the best Broncos team because anybody else that we would have played probably would have beat us, dude. Because we came out flat. Like there was a lot of points where I looked at the game and I was just like, man, Carr didn't look really, really good. The defense showed up in spurts, but I think if anybody was really, really showed up to the game was definitely Josh Jacobs, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it was finally about time where I think Josh McDaniels probably found our video, and it's like, I kept saying, keep running, just run the dang ball. And no, they did that. I mean, 28 rushes, 144 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's a hard day's work in the office, man. That's a very long day in the office, especially for the Broncos. They just could not. There was no answer. The Denver defense had no answer for Josh Jacobs, and it showed why he had a great game because the Denver defense just there was nothing there. There was nothing there for them. But I do want to get into the Raiders offense a little bit. Everybody's going to go back and say, well, Carr didn't look his best. And the thing is, when it comes to the Broncos, Carr never looks his best against the Denver Broncos. Like, if you look out throughout his whole career, the Denver Broncos have always given Carr fits when it comes to the passing game. And that was even when he did have Amari and Michael Crabtree. And, I mean, yeah, granted, Javonte Adams had a good game, 10 receptions for 101 yards. But even then, the Broncos defense just – passing wise, I mean, Derek Carr has never looked good against the Broncos. It's always been, and like I always said in last week's episode, historically, since a minute now, it just looks like if we just beat them up in the run, Denver never wins. And that's been proven 5 games in a row now, where Josh Jacobs always had 100 rushing yards, over 100 rushing yards, and he's always had 2 touchdowns in each contest since he's been in the NFL playing against the Denver Broncos. So it's just what it is. Derek Carr, that's always the week where I always say, like, man, it'd be nice if you show up, but I know if we beat the Broncos, it's not going to be because of you. And I'd rather you just hand it off than try to be the hero of the freaking game because you've never shown that you've been able to beat them with your arm, especially last year in that the Christmas matchup against the Broncos, where he threw that interception on a screen. It was like, dude, like, yeah. And how do we win? By running the ball. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Yeah. And then also, before I forget, bro, you can't give all the credit to just Josh Jacobs because he wasn't out there pounding the line, making those holes. So come on, let's give some credit where the credit is due. That offensive
and
line
that's actually where I wanted to get into the next segment. It looks like now, these last 2 weeks, it looks like we finally have our rotation set. And it's just looking that way. I mean, I get it. John Simpson was a staple last year. Not anymore. It looks like Alex Bars is going to be the left guard. And for what it's worth, he's plugged in and he's played good.
I'm okay with that, man. As long as it works and it's working, let's do that.
And this is kind of the big thing for me. Our 3rd round pick and our 7th round pick. Dylan Farham, granted, there's some things that he needs to clean up, but overall, when it comes to the running game, there was nobody more active in the run game than Dylan Farham. I mean, the dude is just a big mauler. He's a big guy. Yeah, he's got some things to work on, but I mean, the running game for the last couple of weeks with this offensive line has looked good. And Thayer Munford, again, the seventh round pick out of Ohio State, he he's coming into his own at right tackle. And I think it's awesome because that was a big need. Obviously the whole Alex Leatherwood thing didn't work out. Here comes Thayer Munford. Here we are again, a rookie, but this time it's a seventh rounder, and he looked decent. That's something we haven't had in a really long time at right tackle. Is just a decent right tackle. So, I mean, my opinion, the offensive line. I think that should be the set offensive line because for 2 weeks in a row now, the offense has looked like it's clicking because that offensive line is doing its job, and I got to give credit to finally Mick Lombardi and for finally getting the right combination together. Yeah, it came in week 4, but hey, better late than never.
I agree. Yeah, they look good. The O-line was definitely making holes for Josh Jacobs. I'm just glad that we're making the calls. Actually, making the call to run the ball, which we should have been doing weeks ago, and probably would have been having a different record. It is what it is. No point in crying over spilt milk. It's done and over with. We got our first win. Hopefully, we can continue to, continue to stack up wins. Doing what
I will say this:
running the ball.
I do want to flip it to the defensive side of the ball because how good was it to have Perryman back out there controlling that defense? Like, how good was it to have him back? Now, it sucked again because he went out with a concussion, but I mean, for that first part of the game, I mean, it was like a breath of fresh air to have him back. Like, oh my God, we actually got a linebacker that can actually make open field tackles. It's great.
I know. And then, it's hard to talk to me about linebackers because I'm the first one to get on the Raiders' case about linebackers, about not drafting decent linebackers for a while, besides that one that they drafted. Yeah, I mean, it was really nice to see him out there. I mean, when it comes to defense, I think the person that really should get a lot of praise is my boy Amik, not only because he's my boy, but it was good to see him get back in the game after that one, mishap after he left.
After that one mishap, that was a completely different player. Like that dude, that dude looked completely different. He's bumping, he's hitting, he's doing everything he can to, turn the game around. And, that defensive touchdown really kind of did turn our fortunes around, because, I was talking to my friend a little while ago. And yeah, that is a good thing, Mike. Thank you for tuning in. The Raiders did pick up Blake Martinez. And for people that don't know, he was with the Giants. Patrick Graham was the defensive coordinator from the Giants last year. Blake Martinez had a great year under him. So this is just a safety precaution in case Perryman can't come back from that concussion quick enough. Then, hey, Blake Martinez will probably get elevated. But right now, he's just on the practice squad. So it's just one of those things like, hey, should it be, at least he's there just in case for insurance. A guy familiar with the system, at least. But right. I want to go back to Amik.
Yeah, go ahead.
I do want to go back to Amik. Amik, after that whole hiccup of him tripping and then Jerry Jeudy doing the whole too short thing. After that, it was kind of like, oh man, this guy's kind of a different dude. And I really enjoyed watching him play on Sunday because this is sort of like his bet. He's already got an interception. He's got a fumble recovery for a touchdown. He's making plays on the outside. The dude's doing it all. The dude's kind of doing it all. And it's, that's his only, fault right now is that he is short, but I mean, he's making it up. Him and Nate Hobbs, they were making plays happen on the corner. Our secondary is really improving. And yes, there are a couple times where they kind of give up the big play, but overall, I'm really proud of that secondary group on Sunday. They played their butts off. Everybody, Nate Hobbs, Amik, Abram, Merrick, Duron Harmon, even Teamer had a couple plays here and there. So it was really good just to see the secondary really step up and just play.
Yeah, it was good, man. Everybody did their part. Again, just a good team win. Didn't look the best. Any better team on a better day could have really put us in our casket. Put that last.
Oh yeah, no, that's
any better team could have. We were really hurting out there. I think there was one play where I saw Derek Carr went third and out again, and he just looked at everybody. He looked frustrated, and I thought to myself, you know what? Any better team could have just been like, "Hey, we got him on the ropes, guys. Let's just go over there and let's just, beat the shit out of him. We can,
No, it's just, I think, unfortunately, on this week, I just think Denver didn't really have enough. Obviously,
I don't think Denver I don't think they're hot stuff.
I think what it is right now, I think after 4 weeks, I can sit here and say that Denver is definitely underwhelming. If that's fair to say, they're definitely underwhelming. And now, unfortunately, the running back that they had high hopes for, the second-year man, Javonte Williams, he's now out for the rest of the year because it is the ACL and MCL. So that's going to be a long road recovery, but he should be back next year. And then you also have Bradley Chubb, it was Randy Gregory. I think it was one of those two.
Randy Gregory.
Yeah, I think he's out for 4 weeks now due to a high ankle sprain as well. So again, it's just one of those things, where it's like, it sucks, but it's just at the end of it, we made the better plays. They didn't. We got the first win of the year, and it was against a division rival. Max Crosby, again, deserves all the credit for doing what he did on Sunday. But like I said, I think it was really a team effort, and hopefully this is just the start of something. So, hopefully it's the start of something good because, we've seen it before where they lose a few and then they just get one win and they spark it around. And sure enough, it was against Denver too. And they just turn it around. It always seems like if they beat Denver when they're down in the dumps, it always seems like, well, maybe they could catch something here. Well, they're going to have to prove it. Especially they're going to have to prove it this Monday night. And it is against the Kansas City Chiefs. It is against a team who has owned that division now for 6-7 years, something like that. And, I just, I want, it's just one of those games where, we know where we stand with Kansas City, especially the better part of the decade. We know where we stand. They own us, and that's not a secret. I could sit here and say, yeah, the Kansas City Chiefs own the Las Vegas Raiders. It's not a secret. Have we gotten lucky a couple times? Sure. But what's lucky compared to like the other 20 times or something like that? It's like, it is what it is, every blind squirrel is going to find a nut eventually. It's just, when is that nut going to come? So it's just one of those things, when are we ever going to find that, golden nut? But whatever it is, it just seems that Derek Carr, that offense, that whole team just has a hard time at Kansas City. I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is, but if they want to turn this around, they have to get a statement win. And last time I checked, Kansas City looked really good on Sunday Night Football against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, granted, too, Tampa Bay really didn't. They're down linemen, but that's no excuse either. It's like I always told you, and like you've always known me, injuries to me are not an excuse for a team to succeed because this is what you build your team for. You always build your team for depth. You don't build it to all because you're never going to have the 22 starters every single week. There's always going to be injuries, and that's what depth is for. And if you can't build it, then hey, that's on you, That's on you guys. So it is what it is. But give me your thoughts, bro, for this week on Monday Night Football. It's Monday Night Football. It's another division game. It's a week before our bye week. Give me your thoughts on this game. What are your feelings heading in?
Yeah, bro, you said it yourself. It's tough. It's difficult for us to win over there in KC. It's difficult to beat Kansas City regardless. At home, away, it don't matter. London, Mexico, it don't matter.
Mars.
It's a tough team, Bars. it's just tough, dude. They're a well-rounded team. They're coached well. Regardless, a lot of people, it's kind of funny, and I'm sure you can attest to this, Ro, that when they traded Tyreek Hill, I kind of looked at it and everybody's like, they're already like, okay, the Casey's got nothing no more. They traded Tyreek Hill. It's like, well, Tyreek Hill didn't make the whole team. They still got Kelsey. They still got.
I mean, when people said that, and not to cut you off, but when people said, "Oh my God, how dare Kansas City trades away Tyreek Hill?" and I'm like, "What? Did they get rid of Andy Reid too?" Because then I would be worried.
Yeah.
Then I would say, okay, we might have a shot. But no, Andy Reid is still on the sidelines, so he'll figure it out. And I get it. People are gonna come into the show and people are gonna comment down the road or something like, "Well, do you know that Tyreek Hill has more receiving yards than the Kansas City Chiefs whole wide receiver core?" Yeah, that's fine. But do you know that Kansas City is actually on top of their division, unlike the Miami Dolphins?
Right.
So again, listen, I get it. Tyreek Hill is probably he is a generational talent. I could sit here and say, yeah, that's a dude that was God-given speed. Nobody's gonna outrun Tyreek Hill like that. That's just God-given, and he could play wide receiver. So I mean, and yes, that's another thing too. And we'll get into what where I think this is kind of where it improved. And Mike did make a comment about Clyde Edwards-Helaire, where he's actually improving, and I'll get into my theory on that.
I have a question. I'm sorry, I have to jump in here. So you keep saying Mike is, but I'm looking at the comments here, bro. Is he commenting
on YouTube? He's on the YouTube page. Yeah, he's on the YouTube page.
Well,
yeah.
Hello to Mike, whoever he is. I'm glad that he's tuning in, and maybe we'll have him on one of these days because it looks like he has a lot of good love for the Raiders, or maybe a KC fan. I'm not sure.
Well, he's actually a Packers fan, believe it or not, but he's just a big supporter of the show.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Mike, for supporting us, brother.
But and that's the thing too. I think a lot of people were kind of just like tripped out. Like, well, I mean, I get it. It's Tyreek Hill, but did Travis Kelce go? Did Andy Reid retire? Is Patrick Mahomes hurt? I mean, what's going on? Like, what happened? Like, what's going on?
Bro, look, let's leave it at this, okay? Because we could sit here and talk all night until our faces turn blue. But the reality is, in order to beat KC, you got to be a well-rounded team. You got to go out there, and we say every week there's one person you got to stop on the other team. And this week you can juggle between Kelsey and Patrick Mahomes. If there's one guy for me that I would say we had to stop, Kelsey, we've tried for whatever
years.
Over it. We're just not going to stop him. We can only hope to contain him. As far as Patrick Mahomes goes, there's a chance, and I would put my money on that. If we ever have a chance to beat KC this week, it's going to be by stopping Patrick Mahomes, man. That's the only way.
And you always tell me every week, like, is there anybody that you're looking forward to? Is there anybody that, one player that it's really not, because Kansas City's just a well-rounded football team, and then credit to them because they've been to 3 straight AFC championship games. You don't get there by luck. You get there because you're a well-rounded, well-coached football team. For me, really, it's not really a player. It's really staff against staff. It's, can Patrick Graham stop Andy Reid's offense? That's what it is to me. To me, that's what it comes down to. Of course, Mike, easier said than done. Oh, absolutely, 100%. This is a very well team, man. You can't stop. Listen, when it comes to Travis Kelce, when it comes to Patrick Mahomes, listen, you can't stop them. You can only hope to contain them. And even then, that might be too big of a task. For me, what it really comes down to this week is Patrick Graham ready for this challenge? Okay, I get it. He's done it. He's played against the Chiefs before, and he had a good, well-around bout with them. And, it was, hey, good for him, but we need you to do it again. Really, it's, can your scheme, or can you make the adjustments to at least try to give our team a chance to win this football game? That's what I'm looking at this week. It's not really a player. It's really not anything, because I know what Patrick Mahomes is going to do. Patrick Mahomes is going to do Patrick Mahomes things. I mean, look what he did to Tampa Bay's defense on Sunday. And that's Tampa Bay's defense. Look what he did to the Bills defense in the AFC Championship game. That's the Bills defense. So Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes. Travis Kelce is going to be Travis Kelce. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which again, my theory is because of that trade that they did, it opened up. Okay, well, we need another pass catcher, we need another playmaker, and I think this is where he finally gets to shine because he didn't really get the snaps because one, the production wasn't there, and I mean, why would you want to run the ball when you have the most explosive offense in the NFL with Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce? But now they need him to step up, and he has. I just hope it's not one of those situations where it's too little too late for him, but I doubt it. But I think for me this week, what it really comes down to is can Patrick Graham and that whole defensive squad, can they match up with Andy Reid? That's what it comes down to. That's what it doesn't matter about players. It doesn't, because Kansas City's got the talent. We don't. We got talent, but we are not talented like them. That's what it comes down to. That's what it comes down to.
Look, every week, bro, I give you who I think's gonna win the game, and I'll be cheery, rah for the Raiders every week. Let's just be honest, dude. Okay, it's really gonna be tough for the Raiders to win this week. They just have to go out there and make a statement game if they ever had one after winning their first game. But after watching them this Sunday, dude, and barely, I mean, they didn't squeak it out against Denver, but being a Raider fan and seeing them year after year, this one to me was almost like a game that was just barely squeaked out for them. And I know the score didn't show
indicate that. Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? But at the same time, you just look at it and you're like, I've seen this before, dude. I know what this is. Any other team that was a good team could have just came back and easily, because we just weren't all there. We're not all on the same page. Is there a chance we could win? The saying, it's any given Sunday. That's what I'm hoping for. Excuse me. This is a Monday night game, but regardless, it's the same. That's what I'm hoping for. But, we'll see, man. I'm a realistic Raider fan, and I'm not one of those guys that's just like, oh, yeah, we're going to win because we're the Raiders. No. It's Kansas City is going to bring the heat, and if I'm not mistaken, it's in Kansas City, correct?
Correct.
So they're bringing all their fans out. They're going to be loud. It's Monday night. Carr statistically never plays well in Kansas City, cold or not. If it was up to me, I'd say if we do win, it's on the last second field goal. And I'm hoping the defense could really, really keep them to maybe 24 points. And maybe somehow, some way we can, squeak it out, bro. That's what I would say. That's what I'm hoping for Monday, tell you the truth.
For me, what I'm looking for this week offensively, it really comes down to this. If, and this is a big if the offensive line plays really well again and Carr's not hitting what he's supposed to hit, then it's going to be one of those, are we reverting back to the same old ways? What's going on? Because let's be real. On Sunday, there were some throws he did, and I'm just kind of like, who's he throwing it to? Like, it was like, wait a minute, bro. Like, wait a minute. What are you looking at? Like, what are you looking at that we're not looking at? Because there's something not there. Like, something's not right. And again, luckily, the offensive line was able to help him up. And again, if we said this once, we said this 100 times. The best way to beat Kansas City is to make sure that their offense is on the sideline. And how do you do that? By extending plays, by using the run game. Also, I want to see more of that car, the running one.
That was good. Yeah.
That's what I like. That's the only way you have a chance. And I'm sure Josh McDaniels has to see that. He has listen, the only way we could beat these guys, the only way we have a chance of even being competitive with these guys is if we control the time of possession. Because I know Kansas City can score on anybody, no matter how good your defense is, in 2 minutes. That's just how talented they freaking are. We need every freaking second to at least be competitive enough. That's what we need to do. And if you can't get it done by your arm, get it done by your legs. Because the reason nobody's complaining this week, not because we won, but because, oh my God, he ran the ball. he saw the grass and he saw the light. Like, oh my God, he's actually running. He's getting us extra possessions, extra set of downs. That's what we need to keep doing in order for our team to survive. If we just keep going 3 and out, then it's like, dude, it's going to be hard on the defense to try to maintain that.
We said it a bunch of times, dude. If Carr would just add that to his arsenal, so many people would talk less crap about him. Just because, you know, in the league right now, almost every quarterback is at least somewhat mobile. You know what I mean?
Some more than others.
Yeah.
Some more than others.
Some more than others, but everybody's got to be a little mobile, you know?
Yeah, because the pocket, let's face it, the pocket, I mean, we saw the big difference between Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes. Now, Tom Brady has never, I get it, he's older, and he's had some running moments, but he was never one to be considered mobile. He's a true traditional pocket guy. But you saw, like, the way how defenses are being built now, you're not going to last very long if you're a pocket dude. And that's what we're seeing with I mean, think of it like this. The Tennessee versus Indy game. The run game, and that Ryan Tannehill made a couple more plays with his legs rather than his arm, and Matt Ryan just standing there hoping for something to happen, and he ends up getting a fumble or causing the fumble that caused them the game. You know, look at this week, the Bills and Ravens. Yes, the Bills had to come back, but why? Because the Bills controlled the clock in the second half because Josh Allen in the first half wasn't running, and he was in the second half. And that was the difference. And in today's NFL, you have to be mobile because defenses are just getting quicker, they're getting stronger, they're getting smarter, and the schemes out there are getting more crazier. You have to be mobile. Now, on the flip side, on the defense, really what it comes down to is just play your game. Don't make mistakes. Don't worry about making mistakes, but they have to play their game. They have to play their game. That's the only way I can see it. Everybody has to get there. You know, and like I said, Patrick Graham has to pull some rabbit out of his hat with disguises and schemes and cover-ups and all this and that in order for us to at least be competitive enough. And that's asking for a lot, but realistically, that's the only way I see them winning the game too, is because we need a controlled time of possession, and our defense just has to maintain enough to give our offense a chance to score. And this is not the week where the Raiders want to fall short on the red zone. If you're in the red zone, I don't care if it's 4th and 1 at the 1, you go for it. Enough of the field goals. You either win by touchdowns or you lose, or you just lose straight up. You just lose. There is no
one or the other, especially against KC Monday night at their house. You got to put points on the board, and they got to be touchdowns, not field goals.
Because if you're going to go for field goals the whole game on 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, then you're already admitting defeat at this point. So you might as well just try to go for it. And if they stop you at 4th and 1, well, now they have to go 99 yards. I'd rather they go 99 yards than 75. So that's just because I know they can get it in 75. And I know they can get it in 99, but I'd rather they just, try it that way because a lot of mistakes can happen at that point. So it is what it is. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, and of course, special teams being special teams, they just have to keep doing what they're doing. Mac Hollins being the great special teams player that he was and that he's been the first 4 weeks. Daniel Carlson, just keep doing what you're doing. And AJ Cole, just being the man that we know you are. So pretty much bottom line.
Let's just leave it at this, dude. Okay, look, on Monday night, everybody has to be playing for each other. They have to be, as cliche as that sounds, as a team, they got to be on the same page. That's the only way, dude.
Yeah.
That is the only way they're going to be able to even be competitive in that game. KC's got a lot of heat, dude. Raiders do not look good this year. The only thing that a lot of people talk about, and I kind of really do see this too, it's a division game, it's a rivalry game, so regardless, the Raiders will always show up. But at the same time, they showed up last year and they stomped on their KC emblem and got their ass stomping.
and that's that's the thing. It's like, I'm gonna be realistic too. It's like, it's not a rivalry, guys. Like, for any Raider fan out there, it's rivalry. Yeah. No, it's not. It's the Chiefs owning us for almost a better part of the decade. It's not a rivalry. Just like how last week when a bunch of Bronco fans try to come into the page and be like, well, it's a rivalry week. After 5 in a row, 6 in a row, it's not a rivalry, guys. It's no fun. This is not a rivalry anymore. Okay, like this is a guaranteed win for us now. Like until otherwise, I look at the Broncos and I already put 2 W's. Until otherwise, that's just how I feel about it. And I feel the same way with the Chiefs. Until otherwise, I put 2 L's because for what? For the better part of the decade, we can't beat them. Yeah. So there you go. So at least with the Chargers, at least I could put 1-1 because we don't know how the fuck it's always gonna go. So you can go one way and go the other. I don't freaking know when it comes to them. But
I will be ready. I will be ready for Monday. I'm sure you'll be ready for Monday. We'll be watching it together, and I know we say this every week. Hopefully, maybe before the game, we can log on, and anybody that wants to come on, Raider fan, Chief fan, wants to talk about what they're expecting for the game, that'd be pretty cool. But yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited.
No, I'm excited. Do you have
my prediction?
Do you have any predictions for this week's game? That's what I was going to ask you.
No, I already gave you a prediction, man. Pretty much, the only way I think the Raiders pull this one off, dude, is if they somehow, some way can defensively hold them to a point where we can stay in the game, and somehow, some way we would get a couple last second field goals or last second field goal. That's the only way I see it, dude. I don't think we run away with it. I really don't.
It'd be nice. It would be a nice feeling, wouldn't it? But you know me, I give my predictions tomorrow. I'm going to be on with Brandon tomorrow here and on YouTube, giving out our predictions. And then I did want to give out one thing, though. There was one thing I did, and it's not even Raider related. It's actually Bronco related. The whole Melvin Gordon presser. If anybody out there knows Melvin Gordon personally, tell him don't take it too hard, man. I don't know if you've seen that presser where the reporter asked him, I know how hard he worked on fumble security issues and, protecting the ball. And now he's fumbled, 4 times in 4 games. That's 1 fumble a game. And it seems like those are always costly ones that just turned up being, touchdowns like that. And he just walked out. Hey, if anybody knows Melvin Gordon personally, tell him, hey, it's all right. He'll be okay. He still has talent. It was just a bad day in the office, and just tell him, hey, just clear your mind, man.
Clear your mind. Game like that, especially, I'm sure for anybody that's seen that video, he did look very upset, I guess. He looked like emotionally he was taking it really, really tough, and the thing for me when it comes to him, you should take your job seriously, but then again, it's. Things happen, man,
and this is the thing where if I were able to see Melvin Gordon as a Raider fan, it's like, hey, look, man, a lot of things could have gone differently. Our guys missed tackles too. Our guys had drops. Your team had drops. Remember the one that ended the game? Had the guy caught it, you guys would still be driving offensively. But then the drop happened, and we took over on downs. It's not all on you. It's just it was just one of those things that, hey, it happened. And don't take it too hard, man. Just get back out there and just, just, hey, it's all right. I get it because it's his job to protect the ball. I mean, he is a running back, but, at the same time, it's like, hey, mistakes happen. I mean, we weren't perfect either. We had missed tackles. We could have had a couple sacks on Russell Wilson that he escaped from the grips of the defensive lineman. And we've had plenty of options to go up with more points, but whether it was the drop pass or Derek Carr just missing the read, it happens. It happens all the time. It's just one of those things. So, but if anybody knows Melvin Gordon personally, tell him, hey, it's all right, man. There's always next week, and you'll be all right.
There you go, man. Okay, brother. Well, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate, letting me come on to your show, Silver and Bro Show. Let's hope for a win, man, on Monday, okay?
Nah, man, I agree. And like I said, we'll probably either do it at your house or we'll catch it somewhere. I don't know. We'll figure that out. And we got plenty of time. We don't have to worry about it until Sunday, probably. But yeah, until then, bro, thanks again for tuning. Everybody else, thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys next week where we will recap the Chiefs game. Yeah, Billy Bob right there. He's excited as you can see. We'll recap the Chiefs game, and then it'll be bye week, so we'll just see what we're looking into bye week.
Hopefully, we're not crying next Tuesday.
Oh
At
God,
least
to
I
be
might
down
be.
one, yeah, it's like I said, it's just one of those things where we'll see how they look, and then we'll go from there.
Yep.
And then we'll just look at the rest of the schedule next week, and then we'll just see how it goes. But until then, you all have a wonderful night, bro. I will see you Sunday. Take care, everybody.